bright and early Wednesday, July the 15th. I welcome our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. This is Business Morning Live from Channels Television, Nigeria's news leader. I am Bosun Omofaye. Let's get the show started. The Nigerian economy is under stress. Inflation was reported higher at 9.2% yesterday, on the same day that Nigerian breweries and Transcorp reported disappointing first-half earnings. On the same day, Stanbic IBTC revised downwards its own return on equity and loan book growth for 2015, warning that profit among Nigerian banks will be impacted negatively in 2015 by regulatory pressures. Okay, that's enough negative business and markets news to start the trading day. What else is making the headlines? From Channel's newsroom team, here is Emana Amawe. Good morning.
Good morning, Bosun.
Welcome.
Good to be here with you as usual. Well, good morning. Let's take a look at some headlines outside business news now. The president has told his party members that it's time to walk the talk as Nigerians have high expectations from the APC government. President Muhammadu Buhari, who hosted the party leadership to a Ramadan fast breaking at the new banquet hall in the presidential villa, appealed to different factions in the party to bury the hatchet. Well, moving on now, journalists used the opportunity of the meeting to speak with Senator Bola Tinubu, that's the former governor of Lagos State. For those who think there is a cold war between the president and himself, the former Lagos State governor insists that there is no such thing. He, however, advised APC members to be disciplined because Nigerians are not impressed with what is happening in the ruling party. Well, moving on now, the 7th Assembly did not change the rules of engagement. That's from a former federal lawmaker, Senator Itai Nang. He set the record straight, dispelling reports that the Senate standing rules in the 7th Assembly ended with that assembly. The Senate has been tangled in controversy as federal lawmakers in the Unity Forum wrote a petition to the Inspector General of Police alleging that some sections of the 2015 Senate rules had been forged by certain senators from the opposition People's Democratic Party. Well, now, former governor of Jigawa State is relieved that the court has granted him bail after spending 5 days in detention. Mr. Sule Lamido and his 2 sons were to spend 2 months in detention, but Justice Gabriel Kolawole had a change of heart in the recognition for his status as a former governor. Well, those are some of the stories making the headlines at this time. I'm Emana Amawe. It's back to Bosa.
Thank you very much. Emana will be back with news track. She's part of our newsroom team here on Channels Television. Okay, let's get the program going. Let's take a quick look now at Tuesday's market for you. Interbank rates dropped very sharply yesterday as we saw liquidity thinning out around 80 billion naira. The central bank decided not to do any treasury auctions so far this week. Today is the 3rd trading day. Let's see whether that will remain until the rest of the week as the central bank eyes the liquidity status on Market Street. So overnight money was flat Tuesday as OBB, or what we call open buyback, moves up 4 basis points to 12.0%. Liquidity opening balance around 72.4 billion on Monday with less than 100 billion. That's not enough to get the market on an active footing. The Naira fell 17 points on the US dollar to 197.9. On the pound, it was lost 55 basis points on the pound and 5 points on the euro to 307.44 and 218.98. If you look at the treasuries market, BS return to the treasuries market. Of course, everybody is getting ready for today's 70 billion naira debt auction, or dose reopening by the Debt Management Office. So average yield rises 18 points to 13.53%. That's about 1% on Monday's closing level. Yields decline to 46 points on 2 months, 3 months and 6 month instruments. On Tuesday, 73% of traded bills recorded yield expansions. 44-day to maturity bill taking 189 yields expansion to about 11.47%. and the same set of sentiments in the bond market as we move on to the third point for the third leg of the market, saying an average yield expansion of about 11 points to 15.29% ahead of today's DMO auction. The debt office will be auctioning 40 billion naira of the 15.54%. February 2020, and another 30 billion naira of 12.14 July 2034 bonds in those reopening today. The rates at the secondary market try to eye that those reopenings today around 15.27 and 15.29. That's the current secondary market yield. When you see those numbers, then it's most likely that analysts are forecasting that the debt office would perhaps taking more marginal rates higher than the June auction when the DMO did the last sale at around 14.42% for those bonds in June. Now we're expecting that to move up to about 15% on today's auction. Keep your eyes on a lot of that. Now let's look at the stock market. The market fell another 87.19 billion. We started the week with about 35 billion. Week to date, we've lost about 120 billion naira in two sessions. Last week, the market fell 273 billion naira. We're starting those bloodletting again this week. No thanks to investors' sentiment still negative on equities and other markets, especially currency. Those harvests is coming through when some of the listed banks are reporting, the listed companies, including banks, are reporting disappointing first half 2015 numbers. Let's get more perspectives on the stock market with our analyst Rotimi Fakayejo, who is a trader and CEO at Enterprise Capital. Good morning to you, Rotimi. Thanks for coming through on the phone.
Good morning, bosses.
Thank you. Inflation came in yesterday at 9.2%, and then Nigerian breweries and Transcorp disappointed the markets as well. On the same day, Stanbic IBTC revised its own returns on equity and loan book growth for 2015. That looks like a pretty bad Tuesday on the market. Yes or no?
A big yes.
I'll put it into perspectives for us.
Well, you said it. It was a very disappointing result that we got from Nigerian breweries and also Transcorp. The figures are not really encouraging at all. We saw a dip in the turnover of Transcorp, a dip in their profit after tax, and it's really very disturbing. We saw an increase in the turnover of Nigerian breweries, but a dip in their profit after tax due to the fact that their cost of sales and maybe every other aspect of their cost. And I think the reversal by Stanbic IBTC, instead of a straight cash dividend, now opting for a scrip dividend for those who may want to take it, to me, I don't really think is a very good one. They are coming to the market looking for about 20.5 billion, and I think they are paying out almost 15 billion or above in dividend, in interim dividend. I think these things don't correlate, and it's really very disappointing. So the market yesterday, when the results of Nigerian breweries and Transcorp were received, it actually grossly affected the market. And then we saw the market that was stabilizing at about 0.12%. Negative almost went to 1% before it closed at 0.81%.
Rotimi, let's talk a little bit about Transcorp here. This was a company that came in with the first quarter numbers and sounded very positive, and everyone thought that yes, this would be a good year, as it were, for Transcorp. But these numbers, even for the headline revenue to fall significantly by those figures, and net pre-tax almost 40%. That is a major hit for this conglomerate, is it?
Yes, this is a major slip. And I think what is more disturbing is that it's only the energy business, the power business, that is actually turning in good figure. We are not seeing the corresponding figure from the other business entities within that group. If you look at the group results and the company results comparatively is really, really very worrisome. And I think they need to shape up. We have seen an increase in their finance costs, which is very huge, and also an increase in their in their cost of sales. This also is very disturbing, and I believe they really need to do something about it, because, and that is the